Hello, everybody. So I have the pleasure today to sit down and talk to Nova Francis-Wallace. Now, don't talk yet. Hold on. I've got to introduce you, Nova Francis-Wallace. Aprn. Now, I'm going to try to read my handwriting, too. Fnp-C, CEN. And I'm going to let her explain a little bit of that in a minute. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. Now, I did a little digging on you, Nova Francis-Wallace. Now, from her bio on her business website, and I'll get her to talk about this to you guys. She was in the ATL, Atlanta, for 10 years, nursing. Specific to specialties of neurology and medical ICU, which I have a little tad of it. That's why I wrote down NICU. I have a little background with that too. Pensacola, she came back to Pensacola as a nurse. Emergency nursing. My mom was an ER nurse. I could never toe that one, you guys. I had a little bit of a weak stomach. I tried that little hat on for just a smidge. She, you guys, has also been, or currently, and you can clarify that, instructor for the National Trauma Nurse Certification. So if you're familiar with TNCC, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And last, not least, most importantly, she is the treasurer of our Upsilon Kappa Sigma chapter. So, Nova Francis-Wallace. Okay, Nova. Now, oh, you know what? I forgot. But I'll let you finish this in. So that is what I listed for your background. Will you kind of feel, was there anything I missed, first of all, or anything else you want to say about that as far as your experience, your current experience as a nurse, or anything that I missed or I need to clarify?
That sums it up. I've been a nurse for about 23 years. I got my nurse practitioner in 2019. I was actually part of the first cohort at UWF. So board certified family nurse practitioner. So I specialize in health promotion, disease prevention, and I'm also a board certified emergency nurse. So as Dr. Bush mentioned, I worked in the ER for 10 to 12 years. I say 10 to 12 because the last 2 years I worked as a trauma PI nurse. So,
what is that?
So I specialized in performance improvement. So I got special training on how to look at processes, break them down, improve them, not only for patient safety, but also to provide more efficient and safe care from the provider and nurse perspective. So a lot of things go into running a trauma program, and I got to help improve the program.
When you look back over, and you said 23 years cumulative experience, and this isn't even one of my questions yet, but I kind of wondered, you know, like most nurses, we have worn quite a few hats. Prior to the hat you're currently wearing, did you have a time in your nursing career life that you were like, those were some good days? And did you have a time where you're like, man, those were some really hard learning days?
So the first thing that comes to mind is when the manager of the emergency department took a chance on me and created a charge nurse position to have our own dedicated educator. So I thought I knew emergency nursing, but you don't know what you don't know until you start to teach other people about it. And then that just kind of opened my eyes to how much I didn't know. So I was on this quest to get board certified. I learned tons. I mentored. I think, you know, being an educator and being an influencer in your department really helped me combat some burnout in that area as well. So that was some really good days. I think coming up with education plans and doing in-services hands-on, I like really thrived during that, those days. Challenging, I would have to say how we responded to the COVID. We were actually, I had just obtained my nurse practitioner, and we had discovered that our hospital had the first COVID positive patient in the Panhandle, and we had to lift up an exposure clinic and perform testing on like over 200 employees that had been exposed, and
Oh, wow.
I was asked to step in and lift this exposure clinic up, and I spent hours on YouTube trying to figure out how do you lift up an exposure clinic, and really it was just a lot of information at one time, and you were expected to be an expert out the gate, and so that was definitely challenging to me. Working with respiratory patients in the first of COVID was very challenging.
Okay. Well, I have prepared a few questions. Now I'm going to ask you 2 questions. The third question will be to talk just very briefly about access to care. We are actually sitting, you guys, in her digs. Is this like East Hill, Pensacola, right? Where your current practice is?
Mm-hmm. We're actually located in the old Sacred Heart Hospital.
Oh, yeah. You told me that. Okay.
Historic building.
Yeah, I got lost trying to find this place at first. So the first question on the docket is, you are the treasurer, as we said, for Upsilon Kappa Sigma, our International Society of Nursing. International Honor Society of Nursing, excuse me. What is it about Sigma? Why did you choose Sigma? Just very briefly, I'm not asking you to, to write a book on it. We're keeping it a little short and sweet, but what is special to you about Sigma?
So I first was introduced to Sigma during my nurse practitioner school. I was invited to join based on my academic performance, and of course I wanted that recognition. I worked really hard. I stayed with Sigma because of the peer support and the networking that I have. A lot of the faculty was on the board already, and I think that what was appealing is a lot of us, what we have in common is that we're problem solvers, and we like to, whether it's on the local sector or national, I think we support, lift up each other, and we like to solve problems together, and I think that is my jam.
Yes.
And that's why I've kind of stayed on with the relationships that I've made and the resources, of course, that Sigma provides.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty cool to me. I don't know about you guys. The second question is kind of loaded. So, and this can be anything, any person. Nova, what are 3 key influences that come to your mind? And if she mentions a person, it doesn't mean that's her fave, okay? It's just, it doesn't mean, it is no particular order, just 3 things on this given day that come to your mind related to, that made you the nurse you are today.
Okay.
3 things.
Okay. If you had asked me this probably about 15 years ago, I would have to say like my educators ended up being my mentors. So anyone that took the extra time to teach me a new skill set or broaden my knowledge on certain topics, those people have definitely shaped me into who I am today. I love educators. The second thing would probably be like a skill set that I learned working in the ER. So we were suffering, first of all, with a very, very busy emergency department, level 2 trauma center, and we were suffering from long wait times, boarding patients in the ER. We just had a lot of inefficiency. So I was part of a team that got special training in Six Sigma and Lean methodology, which is basically some performance improvement tools to break down a complicated process, take out all the defects, whether it's extra movement, duplications, all the barriers, right? And putting it back together succinctly to where you've made the patient experience better, you've improved their length of stay, you've made the process easier for providers and nurses to do the right thing. And it was just I've used this skill set in my personal life as well. So, anyways, I can talk about lean methodology all day long, but that definitely stood out as a point, like a pivoting point in my career, where it helped me solve problems better. Not that the aim is to immediately go for the solution, but to look at the different countermeasures and what makes sense to the process and redeveloping a new process. So I think it's helped me it's helped me become a better leader for sure. The last one I would say is like another skill set maybe, or a different perspective. It was introduced to me by one of our previous chief nursing officers at an organization I used to work at. But she introduced the idea of high reliability organizations, which are organizations that have a lot of risk involved. And she was trying to apply it to the hospital, but I took it to like the next level as to like, how can I be a highly reliable nurse? And so there's like 5 characteristics of HROs. 3 of them I use every day as a bedside nurse, and I actually use it when I'm talking to my nursing students. And the first one is being like preoccupied with failure. So to me, what that looks like is having like a mental checklist and going into a patient's room, and from the minute you walk in that room, basically assume everything in the room is wrong, and it's your job to find it and fix it.
And you should do this, or you shouldn't do this? You
should do this.
Okay, you should. Okay.
You walk into a patient's room, and yes, night shift or day shift, whoever we got report from, or whoever's been involved in the care already, of course, they're rock stars, but it's always best to validate, verify, and double check everything. There's a couple of more, and I'm blanking right now, but being sensitive to operations, so things that you might change in your own department may affect other departments downstream, so you have to kind of be cognizant of that. What's the other one? Don't be so quick to oversimplify stuff, so reluctance to oversimplify things. So don't be so laser focused on a certain problem, like have a high index of suspicion for multiple things. What else could be going on here?
That kind of helps like you critically think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Exactly. And then there's one more, but anyways.
Well, I'll try to provide a link. Either I'll embed it in the video, or either in the description of the video, maybe to a resource for viewers to check out. I think that sounds cool. Okay, and then this last question before we get to rapid fire questions is, give us a little bit of your insight into your digs.
Okay.
This is access to care. Like I said, we're here live right now. So who are you in this practice with? Is there any symbolism or what have you behind the name, access to care, whatever you want to tell us?
Okay. Well, I had this idea when I was in nurse practitioner school of creating a space where it was like kind of like a one-stop shop, where someone could come in, get affordable care, and leave with prescriptions, and have like a built-in follow-up, have easy access, have our personal cell phones. It all stemmed where I was having like an acute issue, and I tried to get in with my primary, and they were going to squeeze me in 2 weeks, and I just thought that was like not good enough. So I was thinking about this idea. I had looked into direct primary care, but I was still in school. My partner, LaToya, she's a physician assistant and was working in the emergency room at the time, and was also experiencing the same thing. So she was seeing patients come in week after week, needing, refills on their blood pressure medicines, things that could be handled by a primary, but either they didn't have a primary assigned, or they were underinsured or uninsured and didn't have the means. So she broke away from the ER, took a chance, and looked up this direct primary care model, which is where we work directly for the patient, not insurance. So we're not tied down with all of the expectations of documentation and having to follow a certain care path to get to the diagnosis. We partner with lab companies, imaging companies, so we get discounts on labs, medications, imaging, our EHR that we have makes it very simple for patients to reach out to us anytime. They basically have 24/7 access to us.
So it's like a patient portal that they can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
okay.
all of it runs through the chart to our phone, back through the chart
That's
to
super
their
cool.
phone. So yeah, makes it very easy. I always compare it to like a concierge medicine model, but it's affordable. So a lot of our patients are self-insured, cash pay, or maybe they're on a high deductible plan and use us for the everyday. They have the insurance for catastrophic stuff. And then some of our patients, have regular commercial, really good insurance. They just like being able to call someone up on the spot and get in same day or next day. So
I feel like a lot of people can identify with that.
yeah, so that's us.
Okay. And again, I will either embed a little blip right here that will provide the website, name, address, contact information if you want more information about that. And if I can't get it embedded here, I'll put it in the description side of the video. Okay. Now, this is probably, I love the other questions too, but this is a fun little bit for me here. So these are called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
All right. So I have five.
Sizzling?
Yes, it's sizzling. Okay. 5 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Now, the reason I think this is kind of fun too is for those of y'all who, maybe know me a little personally, I'm kind of Jake a jokester. I like things that are fun, lighthearted, that sort of thing. So the rapid fire questions, the interviewees, the people who are willing to sit through this torture and let me talk to them, I do give them heads up about the prior questions, the ones we just went through, but I said, I'm not going to tell you the rapid fire. But they're pretty low stakes, okay? So the first one is Nova Francis-Wallace. What was your last good meal and where? And you have to tell us about it.
Okay. My first thing that came to my mind.
Yes, that's what I want.
Was Waco Sushi.
Ooh.
Off night.
Wait, I think we've been there. Yes, okay, go ahead.
It's so good. And I usually get their vegetable rolls, and they have a sweet potato roll that they tempura before they roll it, and it's so good. And the service there is so nice. But yeah, I've never been able to do the all-you-can-eat sushi thing that they have going on, but they have really, really good sushi.
Now, I have done that, you guys, and it is good. So, Waco, you already speaking my language here, Nova, okay? Number 2, we are in your car, Nova. What are we listening to?
Silence.
Oh, really?
I honestly have no idea even how to turn on the radio.
You don't like to turn on your jams or?
I just love, that's like my time to get to where I'm going and kind of plan out my day.
Okay.
If anything, I listen to, right now the group that I love right now is M83, and so I got M83 station pulled up on my phone, so if it was the Bluetooth to my phone, that's what you would be hearing. But yeah, no, it's usually silence.
I wasn't quite prepared for that one because I'm a foodie and I love my music, all kinds of jams, but I do like the silence. There is no wrong answers to these, so no judgment here, but I am going to have to look up this M83. All right, now the next rapid fire is spring, summer, fall, winter. What is your favorite season?
Gosh, it'd have to be spring.
Spring, okay.
Renewal, it's new opportunities. I don't know. It's you're coming out of the cold, dark. I don't know. That's how I feel.
Now keep that in mind, and this is a nice segue to this next question. Your perfect day. You wake up, and we're gonna say it's your day off, okay?
Okay.
And this could be anything.
All right.
And I am, the viewers, we're visiting town, and you're gonna show us the town, or this is your perfect day, or maybe no one's with you because we have to hey, maybe there's no music, maybe there's silence. Mm-hmm. So what would that look like? And it doesn't have to be 24 hours, but this is the best day.
All right. get up, snuggle with my dogs, drink coffee. We have a pool, so having family over to hang out by the pool, and then coming in for a movie night.
Comedy? Or
I love
suspense?
sci-fi. I love
I like
sci-fi,
sci-fi
so
too.
anything that's like time travel or quantum jumping and
Okay.
you know, the multiverse. I'm into that right now. So
Okay. And what kind of dog? I love dogs.
I have a Chihuahua mix, and then I've got my male. You would think he was a black lab, but he actually has no lab in him. We did the DNA. He's American Foxhound
Oh.
and
Okay.
boxer.
Oh, wow.
So,
He's kind of a big dog, huh?
yeah, mid
Okay.
to big, but yeah, my little Chihuahua, she's like my heart. So they're both little rescues. So.
Well, the last question is going to be related to mental health.
Okay.
Y'all know my little catchphrase, tagline, my YouTube channel is mental health is a verb. So I believe mental health is something we have to do, just like, you know, as Nova mentioned, this is her, you know, preventive services, primary care. Well, we have to, you know, make sure we take care of our mental health as well. So mental health is a verb, it's an action, it's, you know, something we got to do. With that being said, what would you say is your go-to self-care method, or however you want to sum this up, to care for your mental health and to self-care, to care for self?
Yeah, I schedule time for myself. Like I actually will block time. Like this Friday at 4:30, I'm going to get a facial. You know, I try to treat myself to things here and there that make me feel better, or kind of release, reset. Driving in the car without the radio,
Yeah.
that is totally like, that's my self-care. Like I just, you know, working in the ER and, you know, having children and, you know, you hear your name so many times a day and
yes.
you're spread very thin sometimes. And I think just having that silence has helped me. Professionally, I mentioned earlier that I felt kind of stuck there for a little bit in the ER, and I noticed that when I started to help be a problem solver, that took a lot of the burnout away. Like whenever I started to try to drill down as to why we were having trouble with certain processes in the ER, and I think that's even in my world as a nurse practitioner. Whenever I try to make a process better or streamline a certain intake form, or I think that it helps, it sparks that creativity gene in me, and kind of removes some of the pressure and the burnout. So if I was to recommend anything professionally for nurses out there, definitely start looking into how you can maybe solve problems on your unit, and doors of opportunity start to fly open. From there on out.
Well, thank you so much, Nova, for talking with us and talking with me and answering the rapid fire. And it has truly been an honor and a pleasure to be here today. And like I said, I will post links to Access to Care. I'm looking at her business card right over here. Oh, can I just take one of these?
Yeah.
So this is one card here, and yeah, I want that one because I think it has more of kind of like the logo. Yeah. So see, let me take my finger off of it. Access to Care. Let me show you the back side of that, and hopefully that will come into focus. So there you have it, folks. Nova Francis-Wallace, NP. Okay, thank you, Nova.
You're welcome. Thank you.